Hello and a beautiful afternoon to you. I am Nancy Banigo. Today we'll be discussing a thought-provoking topic on collective responsibility shaping young minds. So we have our guest with us in the studio. His name is David Eyo, aka the Street Prophet. You're welcome, David.
Thank you very much. And
Uh-huh.
it is my pleasure being here in your studio for the first time as a guest.
Mhm.
And I know some years ago I was here scouting for opportunity to hear my voice, but then time
You
and
didn't get the opportunity.
it wasn't
Yeah, but I
forthcoming.
felt this is the God appointed time.
Sure, I believe and I know too well. I'm so
All
sorry,
right.
but I'm here today.
Mm.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. So, David, let's delve straight into our topic of discussion raising young minds. As in, I don't understand where the inspiration is coming from. Why young minds? And you even have an age bracket for it, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Now, this, let me just say this
Okay.
for record purpose.
Mhm.
This is ancestral calling or an alignment.
Oh, okay.
Is a passion, something at my age, I'm not married yet, but then I have a very keen passion for children, how they
Okay.
should be raised.
Mm.
And there are so many concerns, so many persons are ignorant about today because children, naturally,
Mm.
they imitate what other persons are doing.
Okay.
And like the topic that we have today, collective responsibility.
Yeah.
African have a culture.
Mm.
They have an identity where we have shared responsibility from the family to school to the village, church. Just mention it. But those things were were the very key that made African family unique. But
Okay.
we've lost that touch. We've lost that fabric that binds a family and also raise children that people look at. For instance, there's a man, Joseph Hills, is late, when we call him Culture. He was a musician from Jamaica. He said, it takes a village to raise a child. Even the whites envied African, the way we raise our children, but we don't longer have that again. We are so busy trying to make money, but what happened to our assets? Those are questions that keep running into my mind. And I know these are things I need to do because if I don't, who will?
All right. So I would like to know what collective responsibility actually means to you and why do you think it's crucial?
It is very, very important. I remember when I was young, it is not only my father that imbued the spirit of discipline in me, from the church, from the community. Just mention it. For instance, when you hand over your children to maybe your teacher in school, it is you expect that teacher to make sure that he grooms and raises that child in your absence. But today we have a culture, a lifestyle that when a teacher corrects a child, the parents have to go to the school, maybe possibly call police or some other thing that will bring in rancor and misunderstanding. And people will lose interest in raising the child. You hand over, maybe I'm the teacher, you hand over your child to me. Let me raise this child. And let me just say this. To every child in the family, parents know their character. They know what they are good at. They know their weaknesses. Some children are very stubborn. So now for you as a parent to have the child you so desire, it is not only, most times, if, for instance, you're working now and you're married and your children are at home, if your child defaults, some other person should be able to correct that child. That is a shared responsibility.
Okay.
Not when someone corrects your child, you say, you don't have to beat my child. You're giving that child an age, as in the morale, the opportunity to behave abnormal when you're not there. Don't touch me. My mommy said you should not touch me. Why do you beat me? Those are questions a child will raise. And our children nowadays are very smart. Nobody's even paying attention. Who taught them how to dance and rhyme those songs? That is very common today. Those are things we need to look at and say, these children are super smart. But are we paying attention to them? And what happens in the next 10 years if we are not careful enough in raising our children?
Okay, so I understand where you're coming from, but I would like to still get it straight as in why you think it's crucial. All right, I understand we have community training of children back in the days, right? Where we say not one person, not a parent alone can train the child. The child belongs to the community, right? Now, don't you think we've gone past that stage? And if you feel we should go back to that stage, why should we go back to that era where we have communities bringing up children? Is there anything parents are doing wrong now? Are there trends you're saying in children that you feel if we have that community
Shared
upbringings,
responsibility.
yeah, we would be seeing this kind of trend? I mean,
Now, in every sane society,
okay.
a child, whatever happens, whatever character a boy, a girl is taken from, maybe it should be from the family to the society. For instance, permit me to say this, and I have to quote this. In Saudi Arabia, all right, people, the community, the society, let me read it up. It is mainly society and culture that is rooted in religion. For instance, they enforce every family to make sure that they bring up their children in the way. Okay, who can go, for instance, from I'm a Nigerian and I'm in Saudi Arabia. I'll be very careful the way I do things.
Okay.
Now, today people open up and said, I no longer have feelings for an opposite sex, and nobody's saying anything about that. I keep asking questions. We are pastors, we are Christians, but then we applaud evil, what we once frowned on in the past. So it is high time the government, the family, the church, the school, everybody must come to that point that we need to raise our children. Because most times I sit down and I ask myself, if I have a child now and I'm very busy, who will raise them for me? And I'm not there to imbue those qualities and character in them. So it is very important that we need to come back to that drawing board. And owing to technologies and everything you can think of has really soiled and also redirect our children to on the wrong direction and how they should behave. So it is very, very important. Like before, they said, train up a child in the way of the Lord and he or she will never depart from it. We are no longer saying that. We're talking about prosperity every day in the church.
Okay.
So it's a very serious concern that we need to come to that point in raising our children.
Now, what are your suggestions? How do you think families, communities can, come together to raise?
We've lost a whole lot as a family. That fabric that binds our children and that imbue that spirit of discipline in them, we've lost it. Look at the way the crime rate is in Nigeria and everywhere. Now, there was a day I went out with my friend. I sat in one of those eateries, and a child, maybe the parent had issues, and that man walked in. A friend, his father's friend, came in, and they greeted. A few seconds where the man just sat down, the guy, the lady, the small baby, the small girl said, "My father and my mom are quarreling. They are fighting." Just imagine that kind of report. Now, I remember when I was young, you did not talk when elders are sitting. So it's a very serious concern that we need to stop our children, the way they communicate, the way they talk. They are smart. I'm not disputing that fact. But then we need to imbue that spirit of discipline where, okay, for instance, you are a girl, you sit properly, you close your leg. They said, close your leg. I mean, there's how our mothers used to tell our young ones back in the days. But we don't longer have that. A child can sit anyhow. The child can dress and said, after all, other persons are doing, and I have the right to. You don't have that right.
Okay. All right. So you think the family is not enough to bring up the children?
It is never enough.
Okay. All right.
To me, all right. So
let's go on a very quick break to take some quotes, and then we'll bring in my co-host. She definitely will be punished today. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, thank you so much for being there with us. My co-host is around now. Esther, I am with Esther. How are you doing?
I'm good, Nancy. You look so beautiful.
Thank you, Esther. You look good too.
Thank you.
See now you made us miss our chit chat.
Uh-oh. Don't
So
worry.
much for you to tell us,
I'll
Oshay, you
make it
know.
up to you.
All right, so let's go back to our guest. We're still discussing raising children back, like he wants us to go back in the way we have it back in the days where community bring up children. And I know it's a very good idea. I know it's a good thing. And I'm also of that opinion that we should try as much as possible to bring back that community life where everybody's business is everybody's business, right?
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
All right. So now let's talk about values and principles. You know, I know you've seen children. I know you have a problem with is attained now, the way children behave. So what are those values and principles that you think children are supposed to have, and how can adults, help to imbibe those characters in them?
Okay. Like I said earlier on, that our children are our future asset.
Okay.
First off, respect should be the prime thing in the minds of our parents.
Okay.
A child, like I have some friends abroad, and most times when I call them, we talk and we discuss. She will say, here in Germany, a child do not even greet you. It doesn't bother if you're old or young. Maybe possibly just say hi. But what she does is to ensure that she imbue that spirit of respect and discipline in our children.
Okay.
Despite the fact that those lads are white in color, but she spanked them when they go wrong. And the father will say, this African woman, you want to kill my... But this is what we need to do. And those children, when the mother called me and we're talking, uncle, good afternoon, how are you doing? I said, I'm fine, I'm good. I said, she'll tell me, say, okay, she don't say I'm now. If now another person raised these children, like for instance, is the white. I'm not saying they are not, but then an African woman, she remembered how she was raised, and she transferred that training, respect, discipline to our children, despite the fact that she's not in Nigeria. She wants her children to go to school and say, good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. That is a very good value. We need to be very keen. We need to be very, very jealous in protecting to ensure that at least if you have a child, someone will come back and tell you, just imagine you're here, maybe back home, someone will say, your child did this and I love the way he was presenting, or maybe managing every situation. How will you feel? You'll be very happy. That means you've been able to train that child in a way that even when you're not there, that confidence is there for her to represent you as a mother.
Okay.
Because I remember when I was in school, sorry to take us that long because I know there are so many questions lined up. I was living in Upper Anderson off Ikorepene Road, and so many persons live a flippant life. This one will carry woman, this one will do a lot of things. But since my parents were very particular in raising us, my father will always tell me that I am your father, but then I won't follow you to anywhere you're going. Make sure that anybody you see as an elderly person is your father, is your mom. And that ideology lived in me, even while I was in uni. And that woman said, okay, that she has been watching me for a long time now. That, what is my name again? I told her David. He said, she began calling me David Ewobasi. Because it is not about what you do when your parents are not there, but what you do. Because my life, like I always tell people that your life is a ministry, people are reading it. But that discipline, that self-control that I had when there was nobody, no mother, no father, but that woman loved me to a point that whenever she has maybe plantain, anything, food, she will send it to me because of the fact that my parents sent a message that even when I wasn't even, they were not even there. I keep to the discipline and values.
All right, so I don't know if Esther would want to comment.
Yes, I do. Coming from one of the things you said, the scenario you painted of the family overseas, the wife believed in, administering discipline the African way, and the husband is, on the other side of it. Where do you draw the line between discipline and punishment?
The whites don't raise their children the way we do. Like you are right now, both of us, all of us here, you can remember how you were raised. Not that she spanked them at will or at every given time. She will want them over and again. And like that day, we spoke and we're talking about so many things I need to do, the personal stuff. And that boy was very active, playing with the computer, one laptop, iPad. She was telling him, relax, I'm talking to someone. And the guy didn't hear until the mother asked him to kneel down. Now, discipline is not about when you hit a child over and again, you're hardening that child. After all, she not beat you, beat me now. He or she will continue in perpetuating whatever act. So it is very important that you use words most times to correct, not just the other side in beating or in maybe you scream. You can call that child, come on, this thing you're doing is not right.
Do you think the child actually has any rights? Because when it comes to spanking, there are some countries that do not support outright spanking of children. Do you think the child actually has any right on this matter, the matter of administering discipline?
The right we are even talking about has done more harm than good in raising our children.
Giving them rights?
Yes. I have watched one clip where a white mother cautioned his child, and the guy ran and took up the phone and called the police officer. They came, and the police officer asked, what happened? And the mother explained everything. The man was very angry. He's on TikTok. The man was very angry. He was even shouting on that boy, how dare you report your mother to us? What did you do? He was even threatening him that we'll take him to the station. And the guy was, I'm sorry. So when we are talking about right, it is that same right the white are given to our it does. Okay, for instance, they've made a law in America to be precise, that you have a right to own a gun. Just imagine a 14-year-old shot his parent. That's right, to own a rifle. Now you can't.
No. To own a gun doesn't mean an underage
should. There should be an age limit.
So when you're talking about right, we don't have to give our children the right to misbehave and for someone to even start in telling you, I'm right with what I'm doing. Okay. This is not how Africans raise their children.
All right.
Those laws have done more harm than good.
Yeah,
so when it comes to parenting, right? What style of parenting do you think is best in such climes and in Africa so that there is balance?
Like I said earlier on, it's not every time a child go wrong that you need to beat or correct. There are times you need to sit down with your child and tell him the real truth about life. This life we are living in, the tendency to commit evil is more than to do good in Africa. In human, for you to do good, you're struggling, you're striving, you're doing everything possible to do good. But then parents have to understand their children, because imitation is commonly found in animal kingdom. You sing, you see your child will repeat. You jump, you see your child. So they do the wrong thing more than the good thing. Okay. So it is best we balance, we try to understand our children. And two, most times, our characters, what we are, is very, very important. How were you when you were young? So children will come up with that gene, with that blueprint.
All right. So I see you're big in collective upbringing of children. I know that's your focus point, right? And so I'm going to be asking you questions based on that, because I'm wondering why you want that to come back. So where did it end? I mean, how did parents decide to go solo? Where did we miss it from that collective bringing up of children to parents minding their business, everybody minding their business? Something must have led to it. So in your own opinion, what led to that? And what do you think we can do to go back to that same era?
Okay, this is exactly what we need to do. Before, it was always a man that go fending for the family. Like my friend, I think was it a few months ago that the child is up to a certain age that is about to go, maybe start walking or something. Mothers will always stay with their children to raise them when the father is not around. But now we have career women. People have to go and work. People have to do this. Now the question is, who do you leave your children to? Okay? Now I know the economy is changing. Things are not the same. But we have to be very conscious about our children. Like that girl, like my friend in Germany,
Okay.
if she can do that and decided not to work and the husband is taking that responsibility, why can't we in Africa?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
So how do you intend to raise your children? Who is okay? Your husband is not around, and you are not around. Who exactly watch over your child? That's a very serious concern.
Okay.
Who raised them when you're not there? Who cautioned them? Who directs them on what they should do right or
Okay,
wrong?
so apart from that, which is a family thing, what other things, must have led to this?
As a couple, as a family, if, for instance, if I want to get married, I need to tell my wife some certain things, especially when those children are very young and tender. That's the best moment for us to imbue the spirit of discipline and training that they will go with in life.
Okay.
I'm someone that when I'm in love with someone, I'll make sure I provide and I'll give the right tutelage to ensure that they raise their children. Now, it is very, very important that we have to be very particular. Work is good, but what happened to our children? What happened to our assets? We need to streamline the things we need to do for the best and for the betterment of the family.
Okay, so you don't think some of the challenges that led to parents doing, how will I even put it, parents now taking care of their children, and we have removed or taken away that community training or community upbringing, like insecurity, people, lots of crime in the society, don't you think those things must have led to?
When we had this shared responsibility in raising children, now can you measure the percentage of crime back then? But since we feel we know too much, I can raise my child. Nobody has any right to. We've done a whole lot of harm to ourselves. For instance, I made mention earlier on when a teacher corrects your child, maybe by spanking or anything, or shout on that child, please sit down, and that child maybe came home and reported, this is what my teacher does to me. And what you do as a parent is just go to the school and said, never you in your life shout on my child. Are you helping the child or not? So we need to, if anybody is correcting your child, ask him or her, what exactly did you do? Let the child explain and say, you've made mistake. Because most times you'll not be there when the child is messing up or even misrepresenting you. And so, like, I remember when I was young, despite the fact that my mother is in the church, my father is there, some other elderly woman will come. When you're running around, they will come and take you off so that you don't distract the church and every other person seated. So it was a shared responsibility. But we feel some other person are doing more harm than good on your children. I can raise my children.
But we've had cases of people doing more harm than good. We have cases of teachers who discipline and do it overboard. They go overboard in doing these things.
Not in this our generation.
That's where I was about coming in.
It's
because
not in our generation
I need to put certain things in perspective.
Okay.
When it comes to discipline, there is a wide gap between discipline and punishment. Right? And going by the education law, right? There is a law that binds, that regulates the activities of, schools and educational institutions. Every teacher is not expected to administer discipline at that level. Yes, punishment at that level. So if you check, there is a paragraph there that says it is the duty of the principal or the head of school to administer discipline based on the level of offense committed. All right. So it is not a globally accepted phenomenon, particularly in standard schools. You find now it is the head of the school that administers that. Again, you made mention of a teacher maybe yelling at the child and then a parent going to school. Parents have different values. Many parents today are exposed. Some of them have actually battled low self-esteem because of verbal abuse, psychological abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. So when they see any traits, they want to stand up for their children. And I tell you from experience, certain teachers sometimes are not doing well. Yes. I have seen a teacher ask a learner to crawl until the knees peeled open. I have seen all manner of cruel discipline. This in the name of discipline, but that is actually child abuse. Okay. Before you see, I know there are some parents who would tell you it took me 20 years before I had this one child, so don't come and destroy this child for me. So they get up. That is being overprotective, which is, not good. But I would like to ask a question.
Okay.
Now, we are discussing the issue of collective or shared responsibility, right, when it comes to parenting and raising our children. As an expert in this field, how do you think, or where do you draw the line between a neighbor or a church member? We're talking about community, where do you draw the line where they are trying to overstep their bound, where they are doing it out of selfish motive or wickedness? I've seen some people come to report your child to you for things they never did, just to label the child or just to take out, their, and revenge or something on that child for something the child failed to do at one point in time or the other. So how do you identify the motive of a particular person who comes in the name of disciplining or helping you raise your child, and then gives you a negative report about your child? And what should we as parents do when we get any report from an outsider?
Okay, thank you very much for taking out time to explain and also lead your experiences about children and family. Now, there are things I did. I play football very, very well. If my parent gets any report that I have fought, that I had banter with someone, they know I'm very passionate. But first off, once I get to the house, my mother will ask me, how far, what really happened? And I will explain. And whatever I say, my brothers who followed me will say, if I am lying, they will definitely say the truth. And my mother will say, you are not going to that field again. Now, what am I bringing this analogy is the fact that if you have a child, you should know your child's weaknesses or strength. If I'm coming in with a biased mind to report your child to you, at least you should know what your child is good at or bad at. You should ask him, Baba, you called him the sweet name. What's up? What happened? In a very soft tone. You don't need to shout. What really happened? You were playing with ABCD child. What happened? Talk to me. I'm the mother. Say the truth. And you will see that child be very relaxed. And you say, Mommy, this is what happened. This is what happened. You don't need to nail the child immediately. Maybe someone came and report your child. This is what he or she did. You mete out punishment or discipline. No, you need to hear, like, for instance, if you're a lawyer, you should be able to ask questions. You need to hear from both ends before you draw your conclusion. So if you have a child, you should know what your child is good at.
And that is the case of a parent or people reporting.
Yes.
But some persons go ahead to melt out this punishment even before coming to tell the
my cousin.
Exactly.
Like, let me say
so in
this.
that case, what would you do?
Like my cousin. He was back in the days, went to the river, came back, they were discussing. So one elderly woman passed them, they didn't notice. And they would discuss it. And not just, back. The woman came home and reported to the father. And this is what your child did. He saw me, he could not even greet me, and the father did not even ask any question. And asked the guy, see that water you carry? You go carry him like that, kneel down. Without asking the boy what happened. So it was another elderly woman that came and said, Basi, what happened? Why will you be so mean to your child? The woman didn't know what happened and asked Assam, please stand up from that, please. What? She was very angry because the guy has been there for some minutes with water and he was kneeling down. It was later that they asked the boy what happened and the guy explained, this is what transpired. Okay. So what I'm saying in essence is that whatever your child has, whatever crime he or she has committed, make sure you know your child first and ask the question so that you know where to go in and where to caution your child.
All right, so let's take some few tweets to see if we can change the trajectory of this discussion.
Okay.
We have our first tweet here. It says, as the world's population rises, so must our collective responsibility to create spaces where young minds can thrive, lead, and shape a better future.
Yeah.
Okay, so underage gambling is a serious issue, and protecting young minds from risky behavior is a collective responsibility. Gamble pause can help individuals regain control. Let's encourage smart choices today. And then the last tweet here says, don't teach the young ones to be obedient clerks. and corporate slaves. Teach them entrepreneur, critical thinking, building upon first principles, personal finance, manufacturing, life
Life
skill,
skills.
robotic design, engineering. Teach them to be better humans in the society. Okay, so Mr. Ayo,
Yeah.
would you want to react to any of this tweets? It's kind of
Yes, they
advising.
have made their concern, and this is one of the best, the more reason why we are here.
Okay.
Like the last person talked about robot and robotic invention and the rest. I'm actually looking at for young guys that are very savvy in technology because I'm looking at how we can bring in persons that we can battle climate change, technology, any other thing. I have some AI ideas, about 3 of them.
Okay.
So back to what we're saying.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, since you are an advocate for this, how do you carry out your advocacy? Do you just, how do you do it?
What I do is to ensure that we need to go back to the drawing board because so many families and parents are so engrossed on how to make money and they forget about their representative in the next future. I'm not saying I won't ask anybody to go back and be very mean on their children. No, the children of nowadays are not the same the way I was raised.
Okay.
You need to really understand them.
Okay.
You need to know that these guys are super smart. They know there are some things they know and you don't. And they have that tendency of taking off a smartphone and go live and report to you, this is what my father, like she made mention of some policies, educational policies. They can report to you and you bring you to book. What you need to do is just to show them the love, teach them, and give them the enabling environment to better hone their self-confidence.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
that's basically what I do. I'm not asking somebody to be very mean and
okay.
be demonic. So I'm sorry to use that word on their children. No.
Okay. So, do you have like success stories? Have you kids you've worked with?
Yes, for years I've been working with children from schools. Most times I do a edutainment program. That was back in the days before I left the radio.
Okay.
Yes. So many persons. Sometimes people call me in Abuja, people call me in different places that I need to talk to. Children are very tender. How you relate with them is very, very important. I've been a classroom teacher, and I remember when I left the school, children were calling, they were crying, they were looking for me because most times when a child is playing or maybe a child is crying, you need to go down to their level. You need to go. It doesn't matter what you put on. Play with them, understand what they are going through, and assure them they are the best. So this has been my passion. This has been the very thing I do. And when I go home and I said, God, thank you for helping me talk to this child, and I'm able to change and also give them a direction on how they should live their life.
Okay.
So that has been me.
Okay. Before Esther comes in, I know in your mind during your encounter with children or during this whole stage of trying to bring up children or try to bring back collective upbringing for children, you must have some wishes, some policies you wish were in place, like by government or some kind of character you want communities to have. Could you please let us in on some of them?
Okay, first off, I will plead and I will ask, like that my friend that I made mention in Germany.
Okay. She must have been a very good friend. You've mentioned her like 4 times now.
She is. Now, why I'm using that as a cue is that and there are some countries who made provisions for children and mothers when they are lactating. Maybe they are feeding their children, they are raising them. But in Nigeria, we don't have that. When you give birth, you're on your own. Nobody send you.
I don't understand.
But in foreign countries, they have provisions. When a child is like in Dubai and other places, they made provision that every month you'll be given a certain amount of money to raise your child. Now, that alone will reduce pressure. Like you just gave birth and you're off to work. Who will take care of your child? Like I have some friends whose wife just gave birth, but they have businesses.
Okay.
Now she has to bring the mother and she will shuttle the house. In the afternoon, she will go and give breast milk. And the husband was complaining. He was calling me Enya. Enyi. We speak Igbo and the guy was worried and he's been asking the wife to go and stay with the child. Now, what if we have a government policy that supports families, especially mothers? Our mothers have a very vital role. So this is what I feel that our government should copy or mimic what other foreign countries are doing as regards to mother and child upbringing, so that the pressure of the mother going to office, working, jumping, keke will not be there until that child is strong and able to take care of himself or go to school.
Okay.
That's when I would say
Okay.
we should.
All right. So Esther, you want to?
Yeah, so one of the tweets I highlighted critical thinking, and it is a skill, it's 21st century, which is a must have for every young child we are raising. The way we were raised way back is such that we are dependent on whatever our parents told us, whatever our teachers told us. We were never taught to ask questions or to question the status quo. And today, from this conversation so far, I would like you to please make it clear, a child who has been trained for critical thinking, who sees things and just don't accept them the way they are, irrespective of who is presenting those ideology, and stands up to question them. Do you call them saucy? Do you call them trying to be too, much of an open-eyed child or something, trying to be woke or trying to abuse privilege? This issue of respect, children in Africa respect to elders, of course, it is a value that must be kept. Do we see that or term that child as disrespectful when the father comes back home and, just makes mention of a particular thing, and the child seeks to know why, or seeks to have further explanation on that particular instruction that has just been dished out?
Okay, this is one of the things I do as an advocate for good upbringing. Our society, Africans, have been conditioned to accept the way this cup is made. Nobody seeks to ask questions. Can I recreate this cup the other way around? Now, our educational system has always been one of the problems we are facing. Every child is born with an innate, with a gift to do something, but we choose to follow what a professor said. We choose to follow what this other person said. And what I do is that I ask parents, you have this child, you need to look at for what your child is good at. Me, I'm good in playing drums, I'm good in sports, I'm good in writing, but our parents did not look at those passion or innate you or any other person were born with. And now the society has changed. We have technology, we have so many things, and our children no longer follow that same pattern. Now, it is best you look at what your child is good at and channel his or her energy to that direction. Now, look at China. From nursery school, they are not using blackboard to learn. They are either using machines, doing robotic, like that my friend mentioned, catering, any kind of vocational skills they are good at. And I saw it yesterday that Burkina Faso has copied the same critical thinking pattern, that your child has to bring out what God has given him or her to be. Because I saw one other girl, one Igbo, small child, and she had an opportunity with Chimamanda, and she was asking her, this is the idea I have in mind. And so many persons that read through my article said they are fiction.
Okay.
That she needs help. She needs Chimamanda's help. And Chimamanda was telling her, go ahead and write what you think is in your head. That is your gift. That is your blessing. That is your spotlight. You don't need to listen to anybody. That's the picture you have in your head. Nobody seems to understand until when what you do have come to that point, people will see. If you have a dream, it is only you that understand what you're looking for. The passion to write, the passion to speak, the passion to run. It's in you. Like myself, my mind has been telling me, learn how to write, learn how to talk, because the time and the moment will come that you will stand at the spotlight and you. So that girl has been able to follow that path. And Chimamanda came and assured her that she should continue to write. And the mother has always been there for her.
I remember that, and I like that guidance Chimamanda gave to that little girl. So now that takes me to our final question, because we really do not have much time.
Okay.
I was talking about mentorship, because I'm sure that girl sees Chimamanda as a mentor at that moment. What kind of behavior do you think adults should be modeling, so that young ones can copy, or young ones should be able to have mentors, what should they be looking out for?
As parents, there are some lifestyles you need to be very conscious with. Mentorship is about direction. It's about the things you do every day and your child is seeing and they are copying exactly what you're doing. So if you must direct someone on what he or she should do, be the good example of what you want that child to follow. So also give them that safe space to learn and also grow with that confidence. They can speak, they can, because they see you. They often said, we learn to speak by speaking. So whatever it is you want to do, give them the best. If you're quarreling with your husband, with your wife, do not do it before your children, because somehow they will mimic exactly what you're doing. So mentorship is something that is very delicate. You need to be very careful. We are not perfect anywhere, but then we need to bring out the best of ourselves so that our child will be proud of who they follow.
Okay. I thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you
then
very much.
You say you work with children, what age?
From 5, 7, 10, no matter their age, I am very good. Even if a child is very small, sometimes I look at myself and I ask, I am not married, but why is it that a child will just see me and begin to want to come
close to you?
And most times the things I say, I'll be playful with them. I'll try and understand how they are feeling. But from 5 to even 18, I do mentorship. I do help them find direction on what they are good at. It might not really be my field, but at least I'll have an idea on how to help them, guide them, direct them by using the right word to tell them, yes, you can do this. So that has been
and over these years, what major challenge do you think they have? What are those challenges you've seen in this age range?
The challenge I see is that most parents are very busy. They don't even understand the kind of children they give birth to. So anybody, just like you having a dog, if you're very close to your dog, he will be very, very happy seeing you around. When you're back, the dog will be very happy. So that is the same thing that happens with children. When you give any child your attention, you listen to their sense and nonsense, they will love you. And when they have challenge, they will come to you. They will open up every secret or every challenge they have. So most parents are very busy forgetting, once they provide school fees, every other thing that they need to, bed, they forget that the attention is very, very important. So that is what I have been seeing. And most children will say, Uncle, my father is very busy. Like one of my sister's child knows the mother's phone number because the father is very busy. He doesn't even know. He said, Uncle, I don't know my father's phone number. But when anything happens now, I can call my mother. I can collect someone's phone because the mother is always there with the child. So we need to pay attention. We need to look at what they are good at, their weaknesses, and ask questions. Give them the room to do whatever thing you think, yes, it is.
All right, so thank you so much. You could give us a closing remark. You want to talk to parents out there?
Okay, thank you, Nancy and Esther for having me today. But I want to say this for record purpose. Like I said earlier on, we need to be very conscious in raising our children. Time, technology, and every other thing have changed. I know we're looking for money. That's good. But then what happened to our children when we're not there? So I feel we need to take some moment and ask ourselves, if I'm not here anymore, who takes care of my property? Who is my asset? Now, so many parents don't even have the confidence in making their children, maybe writing their will because of their character. So we need to come home and look at the things parents need to do to correct the wrongs by showing them love, by showing them empathy, by being the mentorship or mentor we talked about earlier on. So that's what I feel we should do.
All right. Thank you so much, Ayo David, for coming on the show today. And more grace to your elbow.
Thank you.
I know it's not easy dealing with children. So for you to take that path, you must be very patient and understanding. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Esther, we'll have to go.
Thank you.
All right. So as we wrap up today's discussion, we hope our conversation sparks meaningful action and collaboration to shape a brighter future for our youth. So until next time, from all of us in the studios, bye-bye, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.